Hi, good morning. This is Jim from the Beating Obesity channel. I'm on a business trip up in the Toronto area and had a little time this morning having my morning coffee and had a few thoughts on my mind, and I thought I would do a little vlogging and put them up on my channel. The first thing I wanted to say is a few days ago I got a nice shout out from Joe at OMAD Revolution. He put up a video and gave my Beating Obesity channel a nice plug. And since that time, I think it's been only 2 or 3 days, I've had my number of views on my videos has skyrocketed. I think my number of subscribers has more than tripled. So a little bit overwhelming, and that's all thanks to Joe's massive following at OMAD Revolution. So I want to say thank you, Joe, once again. I appreciate it. As you know, I said many times, your channel was a tremendous wealth of information, and I think it's maybe the best place to go for somebody, a large person that wanted to lose a lot of weight, and it's so well documented. Kudos to you. And to all the new subscribers, hello. Thank you for subscribing. I hope to continue to put up some useful, interesting type material on this channel. The things that are interesting me right now, what I'm most passionate about, and that I'm probably going to vlog about, are, again, weight loss, beating obesity, of course, diet and nutrition. I'll give updates on my carnivore diet. If you haven't seen my latest videos, I'm doing basically pretty much a meat-only style diet right now. Also, just in general, like the OMAD principle, time-restricted eating, you might call it, or fasting. I'm going to have some updates on fasting. And also the other thing I'm passionate about is running and physical exercise. So those are the main topics that you're likely to hear from me in the future. Yeah, just had a little time this morning, and before we head out, I just had a thought, and I wanted to pass it along because I think it's sort of fundamental to people that are trying to lose weight. Whether you got a little weight to lose or a lot of weight to lose like I did, it's really about, in essence, finding a way to conquer hunger. And that's why I titled this video, Conquering Hunger. And what do I mean by conquering hunger? I mean getting to know hunger, living with some hunger, being familiar with it. And why should you be familiar? Well, it's not a bad thing. I mean, hunger has been, ever since mankind has been on the planet, hunger has been a natural part of life. Before there was industrial agriculture, there was sometimes food, sometimes there wasn't any food, depending on the seasons and the availability of game or whatnot. So hunger, your body can perfectly handle being hungry. And just because you skip breakfast, it doesn't mean you're going to starve. I know that's the type of response you get from people if you say, well, I don't eat breakfast, or I only eat once a day. It's, oh my God, how do you manage? Well, it's just silly, because we didn't evolve because we had readily available food 24/7 that we could just go from the market and grab. So hunger is the flip side of feasting, which is, a good meal should be like a feast. You fill yourself up and you have plenty. But then there should be a balance where you're just without food for a while, and you truly drained and depleted, and you feel the hunger. And why I say getting to know hunger, because most people tend to think they're hungry when they're really not. It's just a craving. If you're on the standards, fairly high carbohydrate, American style diet, a lot of sugar and junk food and whatnot, you get hungry a lot if you don't eat every 3 hours. You feel something. You feel weak or jittery or, oh boy, I'm famished. You're not famished. It's just your body wanting to replace another load of sugar. It's not able to burn. It needs fuel. It's asking for easy fuel that it's used to getting from you every 2 or 3 hours. Well, this is the habit you got to break, and you're not going to break it unless you know hunger. And so do without it. Just ignore those cravings and those hunger pangs. You're not starving. You're not going to die. There's nothing bad going to happen. You're perfectly able to get through this type of hunger. Just ride through it. In my journey, the tools that got me through hunger and to no hunger were just the accumulation of everything I did. From the fasting, the extended fast, to the 1 meal a day eating, to the, I would say also the pushing myself into exercise and becoming a fat burner. I experienced a lot of time without food, and now where I'm at with the kind of diet I have, I don't have hunger anymore. I mean, I live, right now I'm having a coffee in the morning, and I haven't eaten since, last night, 12 hours. I have no desire for any breakfast. Excuse me. I do have desire for coffee. And I'm going to go through the day and visit some customers and make some presentations, and I'm going to be just fine. At noon, they said, well, we'll stop and have a sandwich. I said, yeah, fine, I'll have a coffee because I'm not going to be hungry. I'll eat again when I get home tonight. I'm flying back home tonight. So, I mean, it took some work to get to this point, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just call it a very even feel from my body, from the food response. So there's no panic, there's no cravings, there's no jittery feelings if I don't eat. And I think this is why I feel confident that I've made permanent lifestyle change, and that I've conquered hunger, and I have no fear about relapsing or going back to old bad ways or regaining a lot of weight. Because of this change is what I would say. It's just a permanent lifestyle change and approach to food and eating. So, I hope that makes some sense. Whatever works for you, not everyone is gonna do, and I'm not recommending everybody do, follow my template, what I did exactly. That's not what my channel was about. I mentioned that in the beginning. This is not a how-to. I mean, maybe you can pull some ideas from what I did and find ones that suit you, your lifestyle. But this is not a step 1, do this, step 2, do that, step 3, do it. It is not a manual that I think one size fits all. Find your way, what works for you and what makes sense. But keep in mind that the end goal, the end game, is to conquer hunger, and the weight loss will follow. Everything else will follow. But you've got, whatever you do, if you do some kind of a temporary thing, if you consider this not a, you want to lose weight, but you're going to do some program that's like, you're going to do this for a certain length of time, you're going to do certain things and eat a certain way and lose your weight, and then when you're done, you'll do what you normally do. That doesn't work. That's not going to be a permanent change. You can't look at it that way. You've got to make little changes that you're going to just sustain. And so what I'm suggesting, the whole point of my video this morning is to whatever you do, have in mind the goal to conquer hunger. And to conquer hunger, know hunger, live with some hunger, get used to it. It's not the end of the world. to be hungry. And anyway, that kind of sums up my thought this morning. Didn't want to go into anything else at this time, but anyway, again, for all you new subscribers, thank you, and I hope you get some interesting information from this. If you haven't already, watch my my series of videos on my weight loss journey, because there's a lot more information in there. All right, I should get going now. Until next time, this is Jim signing off. Take care, everyone.